Good morning to Morning Live viewers. My name is Tepo Mungwai and welcome to Bottom Line. Every Monday this time around, we make sense of markets and trading. After staging a strong comeback, the JSE finished last week trading day of May in the red. The all-share index was down 0.42%, pushed lower by mining and resources stocks. Let's take a look at how the all-share index performed for the rest of the week. For the whole week, the JSE was up 0.8%. We've seen the index extend its record highs at just a whisk away from the 95,000 level. Now, let's take a look at how the local bourse performed for the entire month of May. Well, in May, the all-share index recorded nearly 2.6% growth. Last week, rally on the JSE took its cue from global stocks. This after positive sentiments returned in the market following U.S. federal court's ruling that threw out most of President Trump's tariffs. However, the relief rally was short-lived when the Federal Reserve the Federal Appeals Court temporarily reinstated most of Trump's tariff. Unfortunately, global stocks fell along with the JSE on renewed tariffs concerns. Currently, Asian markets and U.S. futures are under pressure. We expect trade uncertainty to continue hanging over the JSE going into this new week. The U.S. dollar continues to see downward pressure. In fact, for the month of May, the U.S. dollar has been weakening, and that has pushed the rand higher. For this week, the local markets will keep its focus on the first quarter GDP numbers out on Tuesday. And let's look at some of the expectations. Sadly, the market is not expecting any good news on the growth fronts. Some economists expect contraction in the first quarter GDP numbers. This on the back of a slump in mining output, along with a quarterly weakness recorded in the manufacturing sector. For now, we take our focus on the trading matters. Of course, that's our Traders Corner. This morning, we look at the difference between online trading and traditional stock brokers. To help us understand this, let's bring in Tom Gale, joining us virtually. He's with Standard Bank's Sales Trade. John, thank you very much for joining us this morning. If I go and open an online account and attend few courses, learn the language, can I call myself a trader?
Well, good morning, Tepo, from a chilly Johannesburg morning and a chilly morning for the markets. The first thing I would say is that opening an online trading account, and by the way, these are offered by Standard Bank through our online share trading and web trader platforms, is one way to approach markets for sure. But I would really just caution that you should really trade only by being highly informed with what you're doing. And so it's important to read, to research, and to be aware of all the big market news that is around. And of course, then, just to be very sensible in the way that you approach your trading. You know, this is your money, your capital, and it's very easy these days with leverage being offered. That is to say, you're being lent money and you take some very risky bets, not to wipe out that hard-earned money of yours.
So what makes a difference, let's say, an online trader vis-a-vis a traditional stockbroker? Because sometimes there are confusion and people don't really sometimes understand the difference.
Well, that's right. And in fact, you know, just to give you a sense, I work on the biggest trading floor in South Africa. That's at Standard Bank in their global markets division. And really, ours is not about taking big bets. You know, this is not a casino. In fact, what we do is help the liquidity needs of big companies in South Africa and big institutions. So when they have big liabilities, let's say in currency, they have a cash flow payment that needs to be paid in another currency, we will assist them in executing that. And it's really about managing our risk. And we have very tight controls around how we manage that risk. Now, if you're trading online, that may not be the case. And as I said, you must just be very careful that you're trading your money very sensibly. The second thing I would say is if you're trading online, just be careful for the costs that you're being charged, because sometimes they're higher than, for example, we would experience in a trading room. And the third thing to say is be careful about your tax liability. Because if you're lucky enough to be making money online and you're trading in and out, because trading tends to be more high frequency than just buying and investing, then you may be taxed as income tax if you're holding your stocks for less than 3 years.
And let's look at the attributes and the, the profile as well as qualification in order to be a stockbroker. I understand anyone can be an online trader, but what are the attributes for a stockbroker?
Well, these days, Tepo, in a big trading room such as the one at Standard Bank, it tends to be that we take on graduates who are highly qualified in tertiary education, typically. And normally we pluck these individuals from a background that's maths driven. So mathematics and advanced mathematics is very useful these days. You know, that really equips individuals to understand and cope with this highly controlled risk environment with a lot of risk metrics that need to be understood.
Finally, if, say, I have about 3,000, Tom, to invest, can I approach the JSE for a list of stockbrokers to invest it on my behalf?
Yes, indeed. That's absolutely right, Seppo. So the JSE will provide you with a list of approved stockbrokers. As I say, online share trading at Standard Bank is one route to do this. But once again, you just mentioned investing, and I would actually urge your audience to look to invest. That is to buy and hold high quality companies rather than trade too excessively, where the charges, the costs of trading become quite prohibitive.
But I understand an organization like yourself will not take small amounts, you only work with big amounts. Is that true?
No, you can trade small amounts, and I would urge your audience just to check out the Standard Bank website or go direct, as you say, to the JSE, and they will give you the minimums required. But no, we encourage small investors. Absolutely, we're looking to democratize and broaden the appeal of investing to a broader audience.
Right, thank you very much. That's John Gale. He's with Standard Bank sales team. And remember, don't trade your last money. You may lose, and trade responsibly if you choose to take that route. Morning Live continues with more news and current affairs after the break.